All right. So thanks for hopping on to Team Forever Strong's weekly leader call. And I'm going to try to keep it to 30 minutes because I know it's a late night after we have a team call. But I posted earlier in there because I wanted to see if you guys had any specific topics that were kind of on your mind that you wanted to touch upon. And I know Carrie Diamico said she wanted to hear a little bit more about getting started right calls. So I wanted to kind of, before I started to talk about that, I wanted to just quickly talk about how important it is to just instill like hope and belief into your team. And I'm sure that you guys all do that anyways. But, you know, it's just so important, especially too, I just feel like when certain things can happen, you know, as you're on your own journey, you know, you might go through times where you feel a little discouraged and, you know, your team will feel that. And I just feel like I was listening to something the other day and it was talking about like how important it is to make sure that you're giving yourself daily self-affirmations, you know, where you're waking up every single day and you're saying to yourself, you know, I am a great leader. I am going to, you know, and saying these things off about what you want to happen, you know, in your life, and not just like even just Beachbody, but just in general, you know, and how important it is, because as soon as, like, I've seen it happen to myself personally, like, especially in this business, as soon as you start to get like down on yourself and you start really focusing on that, then it just, you know what I mean? Like, it just gets harder and harder and harder. But I just feel like if we could make it a priority every single day to say, you know, I am a great leader. I am going to, you know, bring on, you know, 10 active coaches this month. I am going to build a successful team. We are going to be a superstar team. We are going to, you know, all these things. And you have to say them like every single day. And I feel like that will really help with your teams, you know, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's like you have to help your team be inspired, right? Inspired. And they need to have hope. Like Nick just came back because he ran out to Target to get something. And, you know, he was just talking to me about how, like, it's true. Like, without hope, there's really no action into place. So then I started thinking, like, do some of these people, like, not you guys, I know you guys are lifers, but I'm talking about, like, the other coaches on the team. It's like, do they really know that they can do this? Like, do they have that hope? Do they have that belief in themselves? And so, you know, as leaders on the team, it's our job to be there to instill that hope in them. So I don't know, do you guys have any tips on that or anything? Like, do you guys do anything, you know, in particular in your team pages or anything like that you feel, you know, help inspire the other coaches on your team? Especially too, because, you know, like when new coaches come on, how, I mean, I don't know, it's hard because when people come on, you know, they're excited, they guns blazing, and then within like 2 to 3 months, sometimes they, you know, they trickle off and they vanish. So do you guys have anything that you do like special in your team pages that you feel helps give extra inspiration and hope to your team? If you do, you can just unmute yourself and share, or you can type it below. No.
Well, for me specifically, the Push 30 program from Shalene, I've actually done it more than once, and I've read so much of her, you know, material. I've read her books and her podcasts and stuff, but just making sure that the voice that I'm hearing often for me is my own voice, and it's my own worst enemy, you know, so that negative thought, but kind of between your own 2 ears, that kind of thing. So I love that, you know, you just kind of touched on that. I think in terms of inspiring others, is initially making sure they have a really positive first experience.
Yeah.
So that's one of the vital behaviors, is recognizing and, you know, making you know, taking time to recognize the effort. And it's not just about hitting Success Club. I actually tie in a lot of different things that are not at all related to Success Club, because we have coaches on my team in particular that haven't sold a challenge pack in a long time, but they are still posting, and their posts are good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, if they're adding value to, and they're just, exactly, just like a mental and physical transformation too, you know?
Right. So just trying to tie it into just continuing to have that hope, and that they're inspiring, even if they're just inspiring me. I frequently tell people, like, you know, they just made my day, or they just motivated me to do this, or I had never thought, you know, like, I try to really take time to do that because they are putting in effort, and if they're gonna, I will match their effort. So if they're willing to put in the effort, I will too.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of my take on it. And just, trying to, and I'm not good at this myself, so that's where it's challenging. Like, I'm good at giving advice, I'm not so good at taking my own advice. It's just making sure that we're not getting in our own way. And I talk about that a lot with privately. I don't post that in my team page. The coaches that struggle with those things would kill me if I did. So those are more private conversations, but we do, we focus on that a lot.
That's great. No, that's really great. And for the few that just hopped on, we were just talking about how important it is to just instill hope and belief into our team to get them inspired, because I was saying that, without hope, it's going to be very hard for someone to take action. So I had asked if anybody did anything that they felt like in their team pages to help and get their team more inspired and instill that hope and belief in them. So Jane had just shared a little bit. So if anybody else has anything that they feel has helped their team, you can go ahead and share it with us. That would be super helpful. Anybody have anything they want to say? Oh, Jen said she's going to read a book together. That's awesome. So will it be you'll do a little book club type of thing? Will you have a separate group for it?
I think I'm just going to actually do it on our team page, because some of my coaches are confused with all the groups, for one, but I also am hoping that, not that we like groups as beachhead coaches, but, and I'm also hoping that we're going to kind of keep it interactive so that hopefully they'll all read it. I'm trying to pick a good book. So if you guys have a good recommendation, many people on our team have already read that You Are a Badass. That's kind of what I was thinking, but something kind of along that line that still is inspiring. Do you know what I mean? So that's what we're going to do in August.
The Energy Bus is a good one.
That's a good, okay. I just ordered that one. So
yeah, that's a really good one. But that's a really good idea, though. I think that will really help too. And it is true. I can't stand creating extra groups. That's why going forward for myself personally, I just start group threads, messages, because there are so many different groups, between the challenge groups, the leaders groups, the team page, your own team page, there's so many different things. So it's to create another group, it is really hard, but it's great to incorporate that into your team page, because how we talk all the time about how, being consistent on our personal walls, right? How you might not get likes and you might not get comments, but everyone's reading it. It's the same thing in your team pages, right? You are sharing in your team page all the time and you're posting things, and you might be like, what the heck? Is anybody even reading it? But they're reading it, and it might be that one thing that you post or that somebody else on the team posts that just kind of clicks for them. And then they might, if this is a coach who's fallen off, they might hop back in, or it just might re-inspire them. That's a great idea. I like that idea. Does anybody have any other tips that they are planning on doing with their team? Did a group last winter for the Push 30 program and participation was low. Yeah, I know. Yep. And I part of it too, I just feel it's still so good to lead by example and things like that. And I feel too, especially with the personal development, if you're showing your team that you're doing it, and they're seeing you have success, they're gonna the light bulb is gonna go on and be all right, wait a minute, well, she's really successful and she's doing personal development. I should probably do something. So continuing to show up even when no one is watching is so important. I need to share more directly in my team from what I get from PD. Yeah, I know. I do need to do that more too, Carrie. I know. And it's, yep, go ahead. I can hear you.
I was going to say, when your posts on your page and there's a ton of people that just don't comment, and not personal page, but my team page, I could see that 30 people have seen that post and maybe one person will like it or one person will comment. I'm okay, well, they've seen it and it's in their brain.
Yeah.
So I think I just need to post more about it regularly.
I need to post it more on my personal page too.
Yeah, me too. I know.
But I also think that I started just recognizing people for little things. you know, like if someone's struggling with inviting, even if somebody invites 2 people, I mean, I don't care. Like I just shout it out on my team page, and that they really like that. And then, you know, that's the fourth thing, the fourth vital we always say is to recognize, but that really, any little thing. I mean, I'm
it is so true. I know
doing as much as I can.
Yeah, it's so true, because it's like whatever you recognize people for, they're going to continue to do more of that. So, you know, by recognizing that those desirable behaviors that they're doing, then that's good. They're going to continue to do more for, you know, more of that.
Right.
And then the other people too who are watching will be like, oh, wait a minute, okay. And they'll start to pick up, which is great.
I've been pretty consistent with posting about my personal development, usually first thing in the morning.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
even if you're reading it the night before, I will type it out in my notes on my phone, so I can just copy and paste it and post it the next morning before I even really need to think about it. So if that's helpful for you guys. But that takes one of your posts of the day.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
And the personal development, I mean, it really does help people. You know what I mean? It's like you get
It's amazing.
Yes. It really does help, like with your mind. And I just feel like
Totally.
it's so hard to get on track and to have success if your mind isn't right. And it's really the only thing that like helps you through it is doing that personal development all the time, whether it's a YouTube video, a podcast, you know, a recording from another coach call, like anything. So important. Does anybody have anything else they want to share about that?
I do, but can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. One thing I've been doing, it's not on my team page though, but one thing that helped me when I was first starting out and it was hard to push my comfort zone was Jen always liked my posts and commented a lot. And at first that really did matter to me. And I don't even know if she knows that, but so now, because that's how I felt, I try to really do that for my coaches as much as I can. So if I haven't heard from a coach or haven't noticed a coach's post, you know, that day, I'll go and look on their wall and kind of, I know that gets harder the more and more coaches that you get. But I just think that really helps them feel like they're doing a good thing. And then also just sending them private messages once in a while. So I think that helps a lot too, in addition to the things we're doing on the team page.
Yeah. It's such a great tip. It's so true, because when they first get started, they do need a lot of extra TLC. I mean, if you think back to what it was like as a brand new coach, you know, just how insecure you were about everything, how you didn't know about anything, how the heck you were going to make it work. And so any extra attention or, you know, acknowledgement like that really does matter, you know? And so I just feel like that is so true. When people are getting started on the team, just really going out of your way, messaging them. With my brand new coaches that I bring on, I literally message them pretty much almost every day. Just because, you know, it's a lot of information like at once. You know, they're in the team page and there's all different kinds of posts going up every day. And then, you know, they get the getting started right email and there's all that information in that. And it's just like they're in the coach basics, and it can be, hi,
Haley.
She's so cute. Yeah, and it can be so overwhelming. So, you know, just, I mean, basically almost like holding their hand, but then releasing it. Like you don't want to hold it forever. I tend to hold hands a little bit too long when I first started. I don't do that anymore now. But definitely at the beginning, they need that extra little bit. So that was a really good tip. Thanks. Does anybody have anything else in that area that they feel helps? No? Okay, well, those are good. Because it is true. Like it's, you know, I just feel like I'm always trying to rack my brains, trying to think about like different ways to, you know, inspire the team and, you know, keep people motivated and have that hope that, and that belief that they can achieve incredible things with this business opportunity. And you'll see too, like the longer that you stay in this, it's hard. It's not hard, but it's harder for people, I feel like, to relate to you because you've been in it for so long, and, you know, your success will continue to grow. And so when you bring on new coaches, just always trying to kind of go back to remembering where you were when you started and just constantly be reassuring them and, believing in them and letting them know that you believe in them is just so important. Like, I seriously feel that sometimes I think like maybe I should do this with my team, but when I first became a coach, so I became a coach in June 25th, and I remember it was not even 5 weeks later, maybe it was 6 weeks later, and Keith Callahan reached out to me and asked me if I would be in charge of running his next Coach Basics with this other girl. So I wasn't even a coach for 2 months, and I knew that he was like way up there, and it was super successful. And he had asked me, hey, listen, like, I think you're doing a great job. I think I want you to run my next Coach Basics with this other girl, Amy. And I was like, I was so scared because I still didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was only a coach for 5 or 6 weeks. But he asked me to do this, and, he's like, you're going to be in charge of running the weekly calls. You're going to be in charge of being in the page every single day. The post will automatically go up, but you're going to be in there, and you're going to need to be sharing your story and your journey, and you're going to need to be commenting and liking and actively participating in there every single day. Get the calls set up, record them, post them, be checking in with people, like run it however you want. You can get a little creative with it if you want, change it up, but I want you to run it with this girl, Amy. And honestly, like my initial reaction was to say like, how the hell can I do that? I've only been a coach for freaking 6 weeks. But I honestly feel like that played a huge role in me just taking that ownership. Again, it's all about like taking that ownership and knowing that you could do it. It's kind of like when you're thrown into it like that, you have no choice. You're in it, and it's like, all right, well, this person obviously must think highly of me if they're asking me to do it. So sometimes I think maybe I should start doing stuff like that and having people just take over. But so what else was I going to say about that? Just being thrown into it. I don't know. I just feel like it really does help you soar almost a little bit more. Like when you it's like you spread your wings and fly. It was kind of like when I was almost 7 months in, and Elizabeth Harkey was like, all right, guys, no one is allowed to use my Coach Basics training anymore. If you're a diamond coach, you need to be running your own, and that is it. And I literally was in a panic about that because I was like, oh my God. But I feel like being thrown into those two situations actually helped because it got you to realize that, no, like you're an entrepreneur, you're running your own business. So I feel like it would be good almost if we could come up with like maybe some ways to start to have like people just like taking control of like certain things. I know like all of you guys do your own challenge groups and you have your own team pages, and that's awesome, but getting like our coaches to start to do that, like just little baby things, like even just like running a team call for you, like starting with that, like even if you only have 4 people on your team call, telling someone that they have like an awesome story, and it would be great if you could share your why, on my team to inspire the other coaches, like something like that would be good. Or, even just getting them to, help out with like posting a tip maybe about in the team page, or why don't you run my challenge group for me, the next month? You and so can be in charge of running this challenge group. Like I'll have all the posts go up on PostCron or whatever you use, but you can be in charge of going in there and making sure that you're the one engaging, with it, just so that they can kind of get their feet wet and see how, how it works and things like that. I'm reading these comments here. Yeah, having them take a day to be in charge in a challenge group helps. Yeah, exactly. Like little things like that. And I just feel like the only way that they are going to step up is if we do something like that with them. And you have to ask them, you know what I mean? Like you will get the rare coaches, like I have this one coach now and she's fairly new, but Stephanie DeYoung, and she's just like has the entrepreneurial spirit in her, and she just like steps up and she volunteers and she shares things and she adds value and she just does that and she dives into training. But most people don't do that. They're a little bit more timid about it, and because they're not used to this being their own business. So I feel like we should maybe just, and we don't have to do this right now, but maybe just like make a list of like 5 different things that we could start to have other coaches on our team do to start to take more ownership, over their business. Because sometimes people can stay in your things for way too long, and it's like time to fly from the nest, people. Time to
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
So as a nurse, and maybe as you all, as teachers and everybody, delegation is a big thing in nursing. And when I started as a nurse, I started in critical care. So I started in ICU. And you don't delegate that much because you have like your 1 or 2 patients and you pretty much do everything for them. So that was something that I struggled with. And then I was in charge. So it's something I learned over time. But here, like, you kind of want to keep control because it's your reputation too. I don't know if you guys struggle with that as well, but kind of letting people go free. But then when you really want them to take something and run with it and they don't do it. So being assertive with delegating, I know that's something that I need to work on a little bit more.
And that's the thing, I know. And it is true. Like, I need to work on that too. And you were like one of the very rare coaches, like Carrie, who like right from the beginning was just like, okay, I'm going to run my own challenge group. Like, it's hard to find, you know, coaches who will do that. And, you know, I was like the same way too. So, you know, it's kind of hard to, it's kind of hard when you get new coaches and just trying to figure out exactly how to get them to start taking over things. When you were the type of coach, you know, who just like kind of did it on your own, it's kind of like, shoot, like, how do I get them to start doing things without pushing them too much? But it is so true, like what Carrie was saying. I mean, I definitely at the beginning myself as a coach, you know, was that control thing where I definitely was holding hands for way too long. And in the end, it just really does just like, it doesn't help because you don't really end up with the people who really want it in the end. Like, you have the people there because you were like basically behind them, pushing them up a hill versus like being there, kind of giving them all the tools to succeed and letting them know that you're here and setting up calls and and then they take off on their own. And so I feel like when I look back on the past 2 years, I feel like that's why I had a lot more coaches, newer coaches specifically, having success back then, because I really went above and beyond, because it was that personal thing, like what Carrie said, where I just felt like, okay, like, oh my gosh, like, they're on my team, they're my coach now, like, I need to make sure that they succeed, even if it kills me, I got to figure it out. And I would go crazy trying to figure out different ways for these coaches to have success. Kind of like when I was a teacher, if someone, like I said before, if someone didn't understand how to do math, I wouldn't just be like, oh, well, like, you don't understand the way I'm teaching it, you're on your own. I would be like sitting down trying to figure out different ways. And that's the way that I approached it with coaching too. And then at the end of the day, it's exhausting. And it really is true. You learn that people are either going to do it or they're not, you know, and as long as you're leading by example and you're there for them and you're connecting with them and staying in connection with them, like, they're going to have success if this is meant for them. And so recently, like, I definitely do not hold hands anymore because I just do not do that. So I get them all started the right way. I still will check in on them and stuff like that, but like, you don't want to have to be that person all the time that has to give like constant motivation and pep talks, like week after week after week to get the person in the game. You know what I mean? So they're definitely finding the balance, which is hard for control freaks like myself. But you do have to kind of just like let go and be like, all right, like, but you know, at the end of the day though, guys, it really is a blessing to do it that way, because it just weeds out all the people who are just going to suck you dry of all your energy. And you're going to end up with the ones who really and truly want it, who are going to own it and work for it and be inspired and be enthusiastic for it, versus the people who are going to be constantly making excuses, constantly feeling bad for themselves, and just can really wear on you. So best advice is to definitely create that balance.
So Kath, what did you cut out as far as like when you're saying you're holding hands and everything? Like, what did you cut out of what you're doing? Because I know you didn't hold my hand because I didn't ask you to.
Yeah,
but
exactly. And that's the thing. Like,
what are you doing differently?
Yeah, the people who would come on like you, you know, like, it's like I wouldn't need to. It's like, thank God we need more people like that on the team. But the other people, like, I mean, I would be constantly, for example, like, to set up a call, like a getting started right call, if I had a new coach, you know, before, I'd be like constantly messaging the person over and over again. We need to set up the call. When are we going to set up the call? Like, this is really important if you want to be able to build a successful business. Like, this call is so key. I need to be able to connect with your why and your purpose for doing this. And I really want to help you get started. in the right direction. It's going to be hard. Constant check-ins about just little things like that. Versus, now I still send them like the email that says, here's the link, schedule the call. And I will definitely follow up with them and say, hey, like, did you get my Getting Started Right call, email? Don't forget to schedule a call. It's so important if you want to build a successful business. And I'll do that like once or twice. And that's it after that. It's like, I'm not going to keep on reminding these, like over and over and over again, because then you get the person who signs up to become a coach and like they get the Getting Started Right email. And then within 3 minutes, it's like, boom, the link comes through that they scheduled the call. So that I stopped hunting down people. Same thing for like my one-on-one calls with like my coaches. The schedule goes out, and people know, that they can schedule it and they can see my schedule. And if people don't schedule them, I don't hunt them down. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a college professor. If you don't hand in your paper, so I don't hunt them down. Whereas before I would have been like, we need to do the call, da-da-da-da-da. And then same thing for when they would first get started, like when we were talking about like how to like invite and how to follow up and how important it is to make sure you're hitting Success Club and helping these 3 people if they were looking to build a business. I wouldn't force them into helping 3 people and hitting Success Club if they were just looking to do this because they wanted to be part of the community. You know what I mean? Or even if they just wanted to, get part of their Shakeology covered, it wouldn't be something that I'd push. But if I had someone who was serious, like I would just be constantly messaging them like, hey, like, do you need help? Like, but like not just once, like multiple times, and it just was just wicked exhausting, guys. It was seriously so exhausting. It was like over, above the top. And at the end of the day, guys, those ones that you have to spend all that time and energy on, those are the ones that don't make it. And so it's like, it's the ones you definitely do need to give support because it's brand new for people. But there's a big difference between giving support and like totally holding hands and almost like, come on, like you can do this every single day, I don't know. I hope that helped a little bit, Carrie. I don't even know if that answered your question, but that was my problem, was that I did not delegate at the beginning. And then I would delegate certain things and people would say they would do it, but then they wouldn't. So then I was just like, I'll just do it all. So it's kind of been like an ongoing struggle. But, you just got to seek out those ones on the team who are already acting as if they are leaders. That's what I've been doing now. I've been looking for the characteristics and seeing those people who stand out, the ones who are like always on the calls, the ones who are active in the page, the ones who are coming to me with specific questions. That's good. That means that they're learning. The ones who are, in the coach basics and actually in there learning it, tagging me. Then I specifically now like seek them out and I ask them to do things for me. And it makes them feel good too. It really does. It makes them feel good.
Can you go over like a quick outline of your Getting Started Right call?
Yeah. So usually what I will do is I will get them right on the phone and I, will have already had sent them that Getting Started Right email. Did I share that with you guys ever? Yeah, I did. Did I not? Did you get it? Some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no. All right, I'll send it to you. But in it, I included like my welcome email video that I made. I ended up doing that and adding that in. So I'll send that to you guys. Let me write that down because I will never remember this. Okay. So they'll already have that. And I'll tell them, make sure that you read the whole thing over. Let me know if you have any questions. Schedule the call. And so we get on the call. And as soon as we get on the call, I start out by just welcoming them to the team and talking. I start asking them a little bit about themselves, like what they do. A lot of times I already know a lot of this stuff because they've already filled out the coach questionnaire, but I still like to kind of ask a couple questions like, so, what makes you excited about becoming a coach? Why are you so looking forward to this? Like little things like that. And then I'll ask them, so what is your goal with this business? I want to make sure that I give you the right support that you need so that we can get you going in the right direction. So are you looking to do this as a hobby? Or are you looking to do this as a business? That's how I always start out. So I'll say like, for hobby, you're just looking to just kind of be part of the community. You want to maybe earn a little bit of extra income to kind of put towards vacations or maybe other little things. around the house, maybe get the cost of your Shakeology covered. There's no right or wrong answer. This can be whatever you want it to be. Or maybe you have bigger goals and dreams for your future and you want to turn this into, a big 6-figure income earning business down the road. Just let me know, like, honestly, like where you're at. So that way I can guide you in the right direction. And so a lot of the times, like most of them will say that they want to build a business out of this, right? Like a big business out of this. And so if they say, depending on what they say, if they say that they want to build a big business, then I'll just go through and I'll say, all right, so you're going to learn everything that you need to learn in the Coach Basics training. I definitely emphasize that on the call and say it is so important that you are in the Coach Basics training and that you are actively engaged and that you commit to it, because so many coaches get plugged in and then they drop off the face of the earth one weekend. So just don't let yourself be that person. Like I tell them that right off the bat, because the ones who go through it are the ones who end up building successful businesses down the road. So make sure you're in there, spend 20 minutes, plug it in just as like you plug in your workout that you're going to get done every day. Go into the Coach Basics, read it, engage in it, absorb it, and tag me in it so I can see that you're actually, doing it. And let me know of any questions that you have along the way. So I really, really, really push that, because seriously, like still to this day, it's like no one goes through the Coach Basics training. I don't know if they do or not, but they definitely don't tag me. So on my end, it looks like no one's doing it really, except for like a couple people. So I really emphasize that. And then I go on and I tell them that, all right, so your success, in this business is going to all boil down to what's called the 3 vital behaviors, which we now have 4. And I will just go through them all. And I'll just say, I say like very briefly, I'm just going to go over them because you're going to learn about them in much more depth in the Coach Basics. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to get your things in the mail. Like if this is someone new, you're going to get your things in the mail. We're going to make sure you're plugged into a challenge group. So you're going to be getting all the support and motivation there. And you're going to see how we run them. And this is really the key for people to have success. So I'll talk to them about that. And then I'll say, and then you are going to just be proof the product works. What that means is you're just going to make sure you're drinking your shake every day, make sure you're getting in your workout and you're following your meal plan, and you're going to be in this challenge group, and you're going to do that. And you're going to be sharing your journey every single day about it. So you're going to want to be posting about your health and fitness journey. And I'll tell them that they can post about a recipe that they made, or they can post something motivational, or they can post like a workout picture, or they can talk about like the differences of how they're feeling from when they first had, Shakeology compared to now, different things like that. I'll say like that'll be one post for you to do every single day. That's an easy post to do, and it'll inspire others to get up and start moving and doing like exercise. And so I'll tell them like, share everything. Like if you're struggling, just talk about it. If you're having a great day, talk about what's going great and talk about the support from the challenge group and just be real. So I really kind of tell them that this is like the best business because you can just be yourself. Like you can totally just be yourself and be your authentic self, and totally soar with this. And so I'll go through each one of the vital behaviors, and I'll tell them, you're going to be learning in our Coach Basics that it's really important for you to work on your personal self-growth. And so I recommend that everyone starts with either the compound effect or the slight edge. So you can choose one of those. I personally like the slight edge better. So I'll tell them that. And you're going to just do 10 minutes a day. Nothing crazy, and you can do audible. So when you're driving around or if you're getting ready around the house, but you're going to want to make sure that you dedicate, 10 minutes a day for that. And then I will talk about inviting really briefly. And I tell them like, listen, part of having success with this is helping other people and inviting people along on this journey with you. So just as you needed help with your health and fitness, now you're going to invite other people to be a part of it with you. And you're going to tell them that you're going to be doing it with them, that you're on this journey together. And I'm going to give you some scripts that you can use to get the conversation started, and I always have my challenge groups running so that you can plug people into, and you're going to make it a conscious effort to invite 5 people every single day to it. And so I'll give them like my exact messages, and I make sure that they know though that like, it's not like this message and that's it, like have a genuine conversation with them, getting to know like what their struggles are, And I always encourage them to like come to me if somebody comes back with like an objection. Like that is really where I spend a lot of my time, to be honest. Like with the new coaches, they don't really know what to say. And I feel like so much of it has to do with the wording that you say to people, which determines whether or not people want to like kind of go for it or not, if it's the right time for them. So I encourage them to come to me and let me know what the objection was, and I'll tell you how I would respond to it. And I'm not really sure if they'll definitely say yes, but this is how I would respond. And, you know, I've had a lot of success with it. So you can ask me, or you can post in the team page. And there's a lot of outstanding coaches in there. They'll hop right on and they'll tell you how they would respond. And I'll do that. So I'll go through those things. And then I'll just say so. And then the last thing is that you just want to make sure that you have fun with this and that you are realistic with the amount of time that you're dedicating to this. And so this shouldn't be like a burden, and it shouldn't be like extra crazy work. It's not something that you need to sit down and work on 4 or 5 hours a night. If you want to, you can. I tell them that. But it's more about fitting into your schedule naturally. And so sit down and take out your planners, and every day may look a little different, and just kind of plug in different, chunks of time where you can actually work on the business, where you're going to be focused and free from distractions. And I usually recommend, I tell my new coaches that it works out to like an hour a day to start. And it really just depends what you're looking to achieve in this business and how fast you want to get there, really, is what it boils down to. So, and what your goals are with this. And so I just tell them, just be realistic, really set those business hours, because you're a business owner now, and stick with it. And when those business slots of time come, if that's how you do it just then. And then when the time is over, you're going to go back to your family, or you're going to go back to your job, or you're going to go back to school, and you're not going to return until that next piece of time comes. Because just like you set aside time to get in your workouts and prep your food for your meals, it's the same thing with the business. You need to schedule in when you're going to do it, and then you need to commit to it, and you need to stick with it. And so I tell them, like, listen, like, if you want to lose like 10 or 15 pounds, right? You know how to do it. You're going to get up, and you're going to plug in when you're going to do your 30-minute workout every day. And then you're going to check into our challenge group. You're going to drink your shake. You're going to figure out when you're going to drink your shake. You're going to eat your meals at certain times a day, whatever works for you. And they're going to be, portioned out, and you're going to follow the plan. And over time, you're going to start to lose the weight, right? You're going to start to feel better about yourself. You're going to feel less bloated. You're going to get more energy. The scale is going to go down. Pant sizes are either going to get bigger on you, and you're just going to feel better. And it's the same thing with seeing success in this business. If you show up and you do it just a little bit every day, just consistently over time, it's the same thing. And that's kind of like how I end. And I let them know that it's okay to feel completely overwhelmed because that's how I felt, and that's how everyone feels, but that our team is here to support them in every way, and that they're not alone, and to definitely ask questions, because I worry about the people who don't ask questions. And it's always a good sign when you get people who ask lots of questions. That's what you want. Because I remember I was like text messaging my coach like 150 times a day when I first started.
Kathy, that was perfect. I had something similar, but then I get like real carried away in my call, and I hadn't done a Getting Started Right call in a while. And I did one the other day, and I'm like, I really need to like focus in on this, because I think I completely overwhelmed her, and but she's great. She just signed up her first coach today.
That's awesome. What's her name?
She just signed up with Lindsay Carlisle, but
good.
she signed up, she did the link and everything, but I don't see it yet. So
okay.
I told her to call Coach Relations tomorrow, but anyway, she really did, like, this is going to be a legit person. So that's good.
Awesome. That's so exciting.
And she does run her own business. So I think she's got the ownership mentality of,
she knows it's going to take time. And I just feel like I don't try to scare people off, but I don't say like, be here like a year from now, like right off the beginning like that. But I do say like, you're building a business, so things are going to take time. So just, keep like a 6-month mark in your mind right now to start, and we're going to talk about like monthly goals and stuff, and celebrating like small successes and victories along the way and stuff, because sometimes people come in and they get so wrapped up with like that humongous big picture of their dream life that it takes a long time to get there. And then it's like they forget the steps that it's going to take to get there, and then it just seems so far away. and then they just don't even acknowledge the smaller successes that they're having along the way, like helping their first person get started on a health and fitness journey. Like that's a big goal that should be celebrated, right? And then moving up and becoming an Emerald coach, and then moving up on the leadership ladder, and helping that first challenger lose weight, and that first message that they get from their very first challenger about like how great they feel. Like all those little things sometimes get disregarded because they're too busy thinking about, you know, like, no, I want to be able to pay off $50,000 of student loans. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
sharing.
Another thing.
What is it?
I was saying another thing that I feel like is important is when people come in and they're like already super stressed, like when you were super stressed about your debt, pay this off, or I have to go back to work, like, but if you're already like running a business and you don't have the time, you're not as focused, then it could go either way. It could be like, I'm going to quit right away, or I'm going to really push it like crazy. And I think she's going to be right in the middle, but like I predicted wrong, but
it is true. Like it's the people who have success in this, it's either out of desperation or inspiration. I remember Keith Callahan saying that, and it was so true. The people who stick with it are either in a situation where they're like completely in sheer desperation, like there is no plan B, like that's where I was. And then the inspiration piece came after, like as I was doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like I'm actually changing lives and stuff. And then the other piece is the people who, they might not have any of that financial, none of that, like none of those struggles, but they really want to be a part of something where they're inspiring other people and actually like making a significant difference. And then that can create, like a bigger vision for their family. Like, I kind of like my job and everything, and I don't have debt, but I mean, if I really could be living every single day, however I wanted, wherever I wanted, let's just face it, guys. Let's just face it. I would not be at this countertop in Uxbridge in Caterpillarville, okay? And I would not be staying up until 12:30 or 1 o'clock at night. I would be somewhere on a beach, like that country song, don't make me sing it. I will be on a beach, right? I will be getting in my work, couple pockets during the day while I'm sitting on the beach. Nick will not be working, right? And we'll be able to travel, and we'll be able to be with the kids and just be able to do the thing. I mean, no, exactly. I just really feel like if you think about it, like, I don't know.
Well, just thinking about 6 months from now, you better be on a beach somewhere.
Oh, Jesus, I know. Well, definitely not like, I mean, I'm definitely a little behind of where I thought we would be, but that's okay. I'm not quitting. So we keep going forward no matter what. I mean, I'm a lifer, but yeah, I'm definitely still looking for houses and stuff. Because I'm like, if I'm looking for it, then it just makes it that much more real.
Mm-hmm.
But it is cool because it's like, I forget who I was talking to. I think it maybe was at like Liz Harkey's retreat. And it's so true. Like she was talking about like her and Michael and about how he retired from his actuary job and everything, and how like it was a good job and everything. But, he's like, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if I really could be spending every day doing what I wanted to do, would it really be getting up to my alarm? Granted they have Jack, which that's their alarm, but would he really want to spend his days, getting up to an alarm, running out the door to work for someone else, not being with his family, which was his priority, and then just doing that day in and day out, but now it's like, of course not. He can do what he wants to do. They can travel all over the place and they can do it together, with little Jack. It is really cool, guys, that this opportunity can actually create that for your future. And we are the ones, guys, going all the way with this.
I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to be up at 4:30 tomorrow, so.
I know. We should probably head out, too. Does anybody have any questions? Bye, Carrie.
Bye. Thanks for sharing, Kathy.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. Bye.
Bye.
Do you guys have any other questions or anything that you wanted to touch upon? Can't wait for Summit, guys. Yes, I love you girls too. And thanks again, Jen, for an incredible call tonight. Such an inspiration. Before you know it, you'll be speaking on a national wake-up call. Put it on your goal board. All right, girls. Well, I hope you have a great weekend, and I love you guys, and you're doing amazing things, and I'm so proud of you. So I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.